third and just started shelling, I think it was Solars. And it was like within the quickest amount of time he could possibly get siege tanks out. They were like, you know what, we should not make this a horizontal spawn map. One thing, though, is we've got a reactor coming down on that barracks. No Reaper out just yet, so probably some Marines, maybe to deny Overlords out of the map. It is a rather big map as the SUV from Sabre makes his way across. He's going to go ahead and check the Xel'Naga Tower just to see if he can get any of the paths of the Overlords as he makes his way across. Things are fairly standard right now. We've got 6 Lings on the way from Synastren and a factory come out of Sabre. So this is something that, for him, maybe not too standard against Zerg. Typically, you get them going right into an early command center after the Reaper opener. And he's making his next supply depot on the low ground, so he's already prepping for when he needs to get his CC down there and secure. One thing about Sabre is he's not going to be playing any sort of rushed. He's gonna think about what he does. He's not. He's a pretty meticulous person, and I'm assuming that's going to come through in his playstyle as well, at least here today. And if you don't know, Sabre didn't play last season, but the last days. We do have a Baneling nest just throwing down for our Zerg player. He's getting more queens, more drones, more lings. You're doing your typical Zerg type of play. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there for a second. Bunker coming down, Widowmine's coming out, and it's Medivacs. It's not Banshees, so it is going to be almost as if Sabre's playing a Protoss right now. I wonder if he knows he's playing Zerg. He saw the Lings and the Overlord, so of course he does, but it's a style that I'm not familiar with. I haven't seen this a lot, and we have the Lings just scouting everywhere, taking the Xel'Naga towers. He's getting that good map vision, and you're going to need it because, well, Medivacs are on the way. A Viking is going to be the next unit coming out of that starport, probably to deal with the Overlords that are making their way across the map and getting themselves into pretty high positions, and they're actually going to spot this medevac. The Lings that he sent out are going to be able to pick up the drop, and that's pretty huge if he sees it on his mini-map, of course, which is, well, now he's going to know it because he's dropping the Ling that picked up the medevac drop. So he scanned the main. He saw what he was up against. I'm pretty sure he saw all the tech buildings, and at the moment, Synastren's gone ahead and thrown down a third hatchery as well. One thing Sabre's doing is he's continuing on with this medevac. He's not saying no. He's, just because you saw me doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. Medevac's going to make its way into the main, but there's units there already, more queens and a lot of lings, so it's a lot of nothing going to be done right now for Sabre. That medevac's getting focused down right now. It's down about 38 hit points, and 3 Marines do make their way out, but that's about it for now. Sabre keeping well ahead of his supply. A siege tank coming out. He's got 41 extra cap supply there. That Viking going away on Overlords. Now we've got a supply block for Synastren, 52 out of 54, so that's going to take some time to get rid of. This is minute 8 that this first command center down, the low ground's going down. That's a lot of lings, a lot of speed lings, mind you, to deal with any sort of medevac dropping action. And you know what Sabre's doing is he's just using this sort of play in order to, he's going to get surrounded. There you go, great pickup at the end there, but he's using this play to take all of Synastren's thoughts away from doing what he needs to do, which is injects, spread creep, and all that stuff. And Sabre knows how to macro. He's going to be going home, and he's going to be getting his economy into gear as the Spire is thrown down from Synastren, so Muta's on the way, as well as 10 drones about to pop. So, things are looking fairly standard for the Synastren. I don't know how Sabre's going to transition out of this into Mecra Bio play. He's got 2 gases coming down on his natural. And I don't think he's scared of much right now. He saw everything that he was dealing with, and as these lings are going to be making their way up into the third, where the third location would be for Sabre, and they're going to be met by a siege tank, as this Viking is still making its way around the map, and you can see the track that he's got there. He's shift, click, attack moved that Viking all around the place just to make sure he can mop up any of these Overlords. One thing is for sure is that Sabre hasn't really gotten the best read right now. He doesn't have a very good idea of what he's up against. I'm not sure he knows about the mutas, or if he knows about Roach Warren on the way. And typically when you're Zerg, you just kind of get all the tech buildings if you're allowed to do so, because you want to be able to tech switch. We see a siege tank drop coming in. It's going to be hitting on the low ground. There aren't mutas out right now to deal with this, but Spine Crawler's going down, and the mutas, the Spire's about to finish up. And this could do some damage. I don't know how much damage it's going to get done, and I'm pretty sure Synastren has an idea of what's going on, and as those lings start to work away on those rocks, it's going to take them some time. Sabre boosts in with the medevacs, unloading 1 siege tank and a bunch of Marines. Going to go ahead and almost lose that medevac. No, the medevac's not being targeted by the queens. It is the rocks. He's going to unsiege the tank and get it into a better position to start shelling the mineral line. If he can, that 1 queen is going to get worked down a little bit by the siege tank, and you can tell how much more efficient this would be if he had maybe 1 more siege tank involved, or he was able to maybe get a Widow Mine in there as well if you could throw it up on the ground. Now the Lings are making their way across at the same time that this is happening. A lot of blue making their way across the upper left hand of that map, and we're going to see if Synastren can do anything. Probably not. 2 tanks and a Widow Mine and a bunker full of Marines going to say no to that as this siege tank continues to chill away at this evolution chamber. And nothing to deal with it right now. We have 6 mutas on the way, but that's a lot of Marines down there. He's probably going to be able to snipe the 1 low health medevac, but that's a lot of Marines. And mutas and Marines love to trade, and that's sometimes what these engagements come down to, is can the mutas defeat the Marines? And I think we have enough mutas now to where he might be able to come in and just a move. But one thing's for sure, you don't want to lose that investment cheaply. 1 muta goes down. There's a lot of Marines here. Another muta goes down. He's trying to target the medevacs. Not a great idea. Another muta really low health, and another 2 more mutas going down. This is another muta loss. He's lost a lot of mutas, and that's a pretty heavy gas investment. 19 banelings morphing up on the production tab as a Thor and 2 Widow Mines make their way out of the field, trying to put a stop to this muta harassment because it is so annoying. Another Thor, but they're targeting down the Thor. He might not be able to trade right now. He's pulling 2 SCVs and a couple more to start repairing this Thor. The Thor will live. It is going to be infinite, and all the mutas are gone now. We've got more mutas on the way, an infestation pit, so he's going to be able to go up into those +3 upgrades as soon as he gets a chance to, because +2 missile attacks is on the way, so it is going to be roach heavy play. Meanwhile, that siege tank, if those Marines are still there, of course they can't shell that mineral line because they don't have vision. There's a heavy attack coming through, busting down banelings, busting through the wall. It's a bunch of Thors. Widow Mines already went off. These banelings are going to try and get on top of these SCVs. They do. A bunch of SCVs going down, but the slow baneling's still not quick enough. Sabre, for all he's worth, is trying to pull back these SCVs and not have them explode to death by the banelings. Another good connection. Taking out a mule, maybe not the best trade for those banelings. Sabre able to keep most of his units alive, and these SCVs are trailing around to the second. There's 29 so far, okay, and you know what? It seems like he's been able to clean this up, but a very, very stagnant mech player means that Synastren back home has been able to take his 4th. He's going to go right into his Zerg economy. He knows what he's up against now. He's up against Hellbat Thor siege tank. Of course, we still have the tech lab on that starport, so we're going to see maybe Raven, Banshee, that type of thing. All those great tech lab units that can come out of the starport and give your mech army such great support. One super interesting is we've got pathogen glands coming out of that infestation pit. Of course, increases the starting energy of infestors by 25. That's pretty crucial if you're going to be doing anything crazy like, oh, I don't know, neural, what's you know, all that good stuff where you take control of Thor's neural parasite. And you know, I've always wanted to see a Zerg take control of an SCV and try and build a command center of his own, but we have swarm hosts coming out. We've got enduring locusts on the way, +1 flying attack. So right now, Synastren's really just getting all the upgrades and tech buildings that he can. Meanwhile, this natural has not been able to mine pretty much due to the scans and of that siege tank. It's been working away. That siege tank has got 10 kills, and he sees the swarm hosts. He knows now what he's up against. Meanwhile, it's minute 18, and Sabre still has not taken a third. As the mech player, he's in a really tough position, but Synastren has done a fantastic job of keeping them in that position. Sabre, of course, doesn't give a care about these Marines anymore. They're there. They're probably going to die. You know, write letters home to their families, gents, because it's all over for those boys. They don't have any medevac support on the way, so, you know, sign up for the Marines, and now you're trapped behind some rocks. A lot of command centers now making their way out onto the field for Sabre. He's going to try. Sorry, there's Billy and Ross and, you know, Kevin. They all had such great hopes, but StarCraft Marines aren't, you know, the job security is great, but the life security isn't. This command center trying to land on the 3rd low ground there is not really going to come off. There's a lot of mutas, and they might be able to snipe this command center if Sabre's not too careful. He pulls SCVs to repair, and 2 Thors now are going to start making work on these mutas as he lifts up another one in the main, and that one's pretty low on hit points as well, down to about 700, and he's going to go ahead and come away and start picking off any sort of these units come out of these factories. We got a Thor here that can start working, but of course he is not going to clump up his mutas if he can help it at all. So you've got 4 Thors on the map, and if, you know, Sabre's control with those Thors is good, but it's not like they're the quickest unit, so he needs to maybe leave 1 or 2 in the main to dissuade those mutas from coming in on top of his production in the future. Synastren, of course, up to 5 hatcheries now. More swarm hosts coming out, +1 armor now coming in for his his upgrades quite nicely. This is a lot of Storm Hosts. We've got, Drilling Claws on the way for our Terran player, +1 weapons, for mech upgrades. So as he's going to be able to try and take his 3rd and 4th, command center positions here, we're going to have some Swarm Hosts to finally make their way out onto the field, into the siege line and Widow mine line, as it were, the minefield. So, Sabre knows exactly what he's up against. 14 roaches, 4 swarm hosts, more of the same, it seems, come out of Synastren. Those mutas able to pick off that turret, and it's going, a fantastic Thor hit. He's able to get all of those mutas down, at least somewhat, and mutas heal pretty quickly, but that basically means that, they're not able to do what they wanted to do, which is stick around and harass. These Marines are going to work in these rocks here, going to cause a bit of a headache for Synastren as these mutas keep trying to come in, and at least they canceled 2 turrets there. These swarm hosts are not enduring yet. Oh yeah, they are, but they're not being rallied correctly. That's what happened there. That's why they were so low on the timer. That's a lot of siege tanks. Those mutas took a huge hit from the Thors, and that will make every Zerg player cry. I don't know how many that one Thor got. Four muta kills in 1 shot, it seemed like, and the other one has 3, so 7 mutas done for the price of not really being able to do what they needed to do. A lot of Synastren's 15 in 1 go, so Jesus Christ. Synastren, a lot of his supply is tied up in those mutas, so maybe not the worst thing to lose a couple, but they are a great unit for harassing, especially this mech, because these roaches come in on top of the Hellbats and siege tanks. You say, okay, maybe you're going to trade a roach for a siege tank or 2, try and whittle down that line, but in the end, more mutas on the way. He's clumping them up, and that's not a good idea, because, of course, what you want to magic box those mutas, get them over the top of the mineral line and not clump them up, because 1 shot from those Thors, all your harassment's gone. Blue Flame on the way, some Ravens and Hellbats, more turrets for Sabre, trying to shore up his defense here. The Marines have taken out that rock pile, but we do have Corruptors on the field for Synastren, and just upgrades. 18 more roaches coming out, and we have, of course, the Greater Spire about to complete, so Broodlords and Swarm Hosts, it seems like the answer is against Sabre's Turtle Mech. Minute 22 has not yet established a 4th. Meanwhile, the Zerg players established 5 hatcheries pretty well. One thing, though, for sure, we don't have enough Ravens really to deal with eventual Broodlords. We need Vikings and Ravens, I think, for this mix. He scans, he sees the Swarm Host. There's nothing there really protecting right now, and there's a lot of Broodlords on the way. Now we've got 3, so not maybe necessarily a lot. Those Marines are still sitting there waiting to get called into battle, as we have basically every unit besides Infestors out on the field right now for the Zerg player. Maybe mix them. Be met with Hellbats and Thors. Swarm Host still making their way up on top of this. 3rd with the siege tanks shelling away 1 Raven. Now the Broodlords are coming into the mix, and they're going to start sending Broodlings down to these tanks, and the tanks, of course, are going to shoot themselves because they have area of effect damage. Siege tanks are shooting themselves. It's not doing very well. Sabre's not reacting to this in an appropriate manner. Swarm Hosts are going to come up at the same time. He's pulling SCVs to repair or to maybe take out the Broodlings before they get to the siege tanks. Now the siege tanks unsiege. Thor's in high impact mode. You don't see that often. They're going to start trying to shell away at these Broodlords and single target them. 1 PDD down. It doesn't have any more energy, so he's not going to be blocking any more of these Swarm Host shots. The Locusts getting in on top of the siege tanks, and Thor's, the SCV's doing as much as they can to repair, but the Mutas now making their way into the map, into the middle of the battle, targeting Thor's down. Widowmine's burrowed. 2 of them get their shots off fantastically against clumped up Mutas, but other than that, it's Mutas, Locusts, and Broodlings taking out Sabre. Synastren game 1 in a comfortable fashion. It's Catalina, second game of this match. Finally, of course, you know the deal. ASL Group D, round of 16, and it's TVZ. So we'll get right into these player introductions. Sabre already making some moves. So spawning in the top right-hand corner, representing the Ascended StarCraft League, he is our very own Red Terran Sabre.
Yes, and his opponent, up 1 game now after a strong macro showing in game 1. It's the Blue Zerg, Rip Z's Synastren.
Yeah, it was a really good showing. Like I said, he used a lot of different units in combination with each other. Was able to make some risky macro expansions pay off. He really never looked in any sort of trouble that game. And I think Sabre's a little upset, and I think we're going to see a bit better play out of him this time. And you know what? He's going CC first, so something tells me him not getting his economy up and running last match kind of made him a little pissed off in the run of things.
Yeah, I think he wants to go into the later rounds of this game in a little bit of a stronger position than last one, like you're saying. Like he feels like he can go toe to toe in the late stages as long as he doesn't get there behind.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, his favorite unit's the battle cruiser, and so when you've got a guy whose favorite unit is the battle cruiser, you can expect that type of play style out of him.
Yeah.
So we do have two orbital commands coming up just as soon as that barracks finished, and the second one does as well. So he's going as macro heavy as he can with a 2cc opener. It's going to be interesting to see as he gets these Marines out. No Reaper, just an SCV scout, to see if he maybe wants to hit a timing built into this build, maybe a Hellbat Banshee push right around before Lair and Mutas start to make their way out in the field. That can typically, I mean, sometimes that can end the game right then and there.
Yeah, Synastren actually staying on gas a little bit, not pulling out. He only goes 2 in gas to get up to 100 for his speed. So he's not too worried about early pressure. As he gets these Lings into scout here, he's actually going to maybe pick up an SCV. There he goes.
Yeah, he's got one SCV as these Lings come into the main, and they actually might be able to get a couple of more, but apparently 6 SCVs beat 4 Lings, and one more SCV going down as these Lings are finally going to get cleaned up and surrounded. Those guys are also warriors. They're not just worker units. The more Marines on the field, and Sabre, I think, taking a little bit of a risk, not walling off his main, instead choosing now he's finally finished walling it off to go ahead build all of his initial buildings on the low ground. I'm going to go ahead and guess Sabre goes into mech again. It's his style. It suits him as a player. But like you said, Synastren keeping the gas incoming. He's only, he's not spending a lot of it. He already got speed. Now I think he's back down to a lower gas count. He's going to go right up to 3 hatches, and pretty standard out of Synastren.
Yeah, I think Synastren's got decent scout off of what Sabre's doing. He scouted a decent amount on the main. He saw no 30cc, and there's Sabre throwing down triple starport. So it looks like we're going to see a whole lot of Banshees out of him first, is where this is going to be headed.
I love it. I absolutely love the call. If you're not ready for this, if you're not prepared for it, it can absolutely do some damage. And unfortunately, what you want right now is an Overlord to go into the main at about this time. The big timing for tech booms are around 6 to 8 minutes, and you need to sacrifice an Overlord at that time. If you look in the main of Sabre, he's got 2 Marines on patrol on the outside of that base, and so we've got more. We've got 3 tech labs. Yeah, 3 tech labs coming down to these starports, so it's exactly how you called it. Banshees is likely what's going to happen. I mean, if he hits like a Ketrock-style Mass Raven, that would be absolutely hilarious, but the gas is probably going to be way too much. I'm going to go ahead and assume Banshees is, there's Cloak, and we're going to, see exactly what we think we're going to see. And like I was saying, if you don't know this is coming, and he hasn't been able to get an Overlord in the main, this can kill you right out.
Yeah, I think Synastren is going to manage to get this Overlord. He's sending it down through like the meat of the main base, like down through this the main chunk here, and not back behind the mineral line. So he might not see this if these Marines are able to pick off the Overlord before it gets in there.
Yeah, and there's 2 of them too.
His best hope here is that the Banshees fly in front of one of his Overlords, but that's the only Overlord that's dying right now in the north side of the map. So Sabre sends around his Banshees to the north side counterclockwise, which is probably what he's doing, as his rallies are set. These Banshees are going to be discovered right about the time they start ravaging the Zerg base.
This is a really sad feeling. You're a Zerg player. Knowing what you know right now, there's no spore crawlers, there's no detection, there's 3 Banshees on the way already, Cloak about to finish up, there's an Overseer now, we've got detection on the field in a forward position, so he's not even in range. He's going to get the scout off, but it's going to be too little too late. This is not just the deal about can he end the game right now as he sees what's coming into his natural, it's can he do so much damage that it doesn't matter? No matter what Sabre does after this, is it going to be crazy enough where he can win the game with some macro? There go the Cloak. 2 Queens down already to these 3 Banshees, and we've got 3 more entering the field. That one with a lot of energy on it. There's no more defense down here. The Spore Crawler is going to get picked off. Of course, 3 Banshees can work that one down quicker. Drones are pooled, and now you can go to work on these drones, and this is absolutely what Sabre wanted to have happen.
Yeah, pretty soon he's just going to be able to start killing spores. He's got his 4th, 5th, and 6th Banshees out on the field now, with the 7th, 8th, and 9th Banshees on the way. Once you get up that high, like 1 Spore Crawler per base is laughable. As the final Queen goes down, there's no more anti-air out right now for Synastren. A few more Queens are about to pop, but this is just painful stuff for Zerg players to watch.
Yeah, the Queen does come out and does hit its inject before it dies. That's all it's going to do, though. This lair is going to go down. He has not spotted the Spire. The Spire's about to finish. One thing he could do would be to target that down, but we are going to be able to get Mutas out on the field, at least in order to clean these Banshees up eventually, but he's done a lot of damage. He goes ahead and scans 1/3 location, notices it's not there, and he's going to start going to work on the Evolution Chambers as it is. 3 Vikings on the way is the answer for Sabre. He knows what the response would be to try and get Mutas out. There's nothing in the air. This is what Sabre likes to do. You know what? I told him, I said, go tech straight right to battle cruisers. Instead, he's gone right to another unit that's pretty good, and that's Banshees, as he's working on all that he can in the natural. He scans the main. Where is the Spire? Where is it? I don't. There's the Baneling nest. There's a Spire on the edge of the 3rd. So great location for Synastren. And so Sabre still doesn't know that Mutas are on the way. So we've got 8 Mutas on the way. 6 Vikings, 3 on the field right now, 3 more on the way as we get Hellions. I think he knows his time is up. He sees the Spire now. He knows that he's going to have to deal pretty quickly. And the Mutas, I think, were the unsung hero of last game from Synastren. So the MVP units trying to make their way out on the map right now. That Viking is going to poke, but then initially get prodded down. Widowmines do burrow. Okay, it survives. And you know what? Sabre is in a fantastic position.
Yeah, Sabre's just playing this out so dirty. Like, he's not overcommitting with his Banshees. He's not letting the Zerg get an inch in this game. The second Synastren musters his counter to the Banshees, which he did very well for only seeing those once they flew over his creep. But these Mutas aren't going to get anything done. There's not nearly enough of them to fight the turrets that Sabre already has down, plus the Widowmines and Viking support. I mean, Synastren is just on the ropes, bleeding from every orifice. Like, he is just so down and out right now. It's going to take a miracle to take this game.
Yeah,
his only saving grace right now is that Sabre is only on 2 bases.
Yeah, that is a key point, and right about minute 10 to 12 is when you're, as a mech player, want to get your 3rd at least down. He does have his 3rd command center there, but you know, Synastren, I think, is going to have an idea when he takes it because he's got units at each expansion. He knows what he's up against. But, you know, you can get a lot of macro done off 2 bases. And, you know, let's be honest, we've seen some fantastic macro out of Sabre in the past. And currently he's cooking along with his armory. He's getting 3 Ravens now out. Like I said, he went straight to air. He teched straight into air. Ling's out on the map right now, just trying to get a feel for when a 3rd might be taken, trying to do as much as they can right now on patrol, of course. You know, Synastren's trying to poke and prod and find a way in with those Mutas. It seems like he's just going to go ahead and come back home, and he's going to take a 4th right now. He has to do something. You know, you got to imagine it this way. Right now, Sabre is up 1-0 in the game, right? He lost the first actual game of the match as these Hellions make their way out on the map. Ling's get a decent enough surround, but there's a lot of Hellions. Widowmines walk right past it like they don't care. 2 Overseers going to get targeted down by some Marines as we're talking about this. But Synastren has to make something happen. He needs to take a 4th. He needs to make an absolute huge risk because right now there's nothing that Synastren has is going to deal with what there it is. GG. He knows. Yep.
Yeah, he has to tap out there. There's just no way you can hold that push. We are back for game number 3 on the map of all maps. It is Secret Spring.
God, I hate this map.
This map is awful and amazing. This is like the pop song that gets stuck in your head and you can't help but tap your foot to. I mean, sometimes you get some great wins on this map and you're like, damn, I love Secret Spring. But then the next game you get cheesed and you're like, God damn it, I hate this map. But we are here, game 3. This is the deciding match for these players here. And on the right side of the map, we have our blue Zerg. Is about to find out some fun stuff. It's Rip Z's Synastren.
And currently, cheesing. Last game won it with the 3-star Banshee, just 3-star port Banshee play, representing Ascended StarCraft League. Of course, we know him as the one and only Sabre.
And he's about to get so scouted.
Yeah, he's been scouted already. And one thing is the Overlord saw the SCV making his way up there anyway. But here's the thing, right? We've got a early gas spawning pool out of the Zerg player. So it's kind of null and void, right? If he was trying to do any sort of game-ending damage. But I expect we see, Reaper come out of here and then probably just lift up his barracks and take it home, and be comfortable enough with that. I like the early Reaper, and Secret Spring has got a lot of room for Reapers to bounce in and out. You can typically keep them alive until around minute 6 or 7 when about speed finishing up. But for now, I don't think Sabre's going to be too happy with the scout because he notices the early spawning pool, he notices the early gas, and he's about to see the spine crawler and the late hatch. So he knows he's up against the worst of it. At least this is the most prepared Zerg you can be as this SCV starts to whittle down on a spine crawler.
Yeah, Synastren getting that fast speed. He's about to start it here. And this Reaper play is going to get utterly shut down. I think the correct move from Sabre here is to let the second Reaper finish and then get a little bit of damage done and just float that Rax home, wall off, and then try and macro out of this because he's not going to get anything done if he keeps trying to fight this. And that Spine Crawler is soaking up all the damage from this first Reaper. It's not getting anything done right now in the brief moments that he can actually get anything done.
Yeah, and it was a pretty weird decision to go for that spine crawler, as the Zerg player is able to just cancel it and save his drone. 2 Reapers out on the field right now, a third one on the way, a bunker on the high ground. This is looking like Sabre's maybe going to force the issue here a little bit. I don't like that decision out of him, but of course he's the one playing it, and we have this great vision of the whole map, and we're not the ones in there on the keyboard. So he's going to work on this queen. He's getting a little bit of damage done as it starts to hit its melee attack on one of these Reapers. One Reaper coming down to low health, but we've got the bunker to come back to, so that's going to provide him a little bit of buffer against the speed. Meanwhile, that's SCV's stayed alive from the scout and the initial building of the barracks. We have another
down those supply depots.
Yeah, the problem is you can't repair a supply depot that's not finished. So if Synastren can get in and maybe kill the SCV or not, there's a lot of lings on the way. These 4 Reapers are about to get surrounded. Oh, they just make it into the bunker. They're able to heal up as Sabre pulls SCVs just to deal with these lings. He is going to finish that supply depot, so super key here. He's going to get all these guys on auto repair. Now he's trying to wall off with the supply depot at his bunker. This is some absolute great gimmick play. These 4 Reapers are putting out a lot of damage. All the lings are going to actually know, so he's got to be able to keep his lings alive, but the bunker is now salvaged as he starts to lift his barracks into this main of Synastren. I don't know where Sabre goes with it from here. He's going to lose his producing buildings, but we've got factories and starports back home, so something tells me we're going to see a Banshee.
And these Reapers are going to die as soon as they get surrounded by these lings, and Synastren is hunting for them, so they're going to die at some point unless Sabre's able to escape up this gold cliff here. And yeah, Banshee might be on the way to no tech lab yet. Let's see what he goes for this starport. Might just be medevac.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh,
there's the tech lab. There's the tech lab.
I mean, he went for medevacs in the first game, so it wasn't a bad guess. But now he's finally gonna, I think about expanding and go ahead and take his natural, as those Reapers actually do survive. So I'm pretty sure he didn't lose a single Reaper in the entire thing. Some of them got 8 kills, 5 kills. So, maybe forced a bit of a crazy response out of Synastren because, as Trigonal was just showing us, that whole second base has got no drones right now. It's got nothing mining. It's just got them transferred. So Sabre able to force a ton of lings out of his opponent, which ultimately is the same thing as not letting you build drones. The barracks kind of blocked off the middle portion here. Only 1 ling in allowed at a time. So, I mean, this is about as funky a game as you can imagine.
Yeah, this is getting a little bit strange, and Synastren just neglecting his lings across the map, not able to get the damage done when they had the opportunity because of Sabre's aggressive Reaper use, kept Synastren busy at home, and forced out a lot more lings than he really needed to defend that.
Oh god!
And Synastren built lings as though he was going to kill, and he gets into the main. Oh no!
Oh god!
Oh no!
Oh god! Those lings are gonna get right on top of these SCVs. The wall was down. The Hellions do get back, and it's gonna manage to save most of them. But that could have been way uglier than it was. The good thing though, Synastren sees the scout. He scouts the Banshee. He knows the timing of the natural, and I'm thinking he's feeling a little bit more comfortable than he used to be. A lot of spine crawlers going to be built down to this high ground here. Spore crawlers are already making their way. They're already building up in the mineral lines. So I think we're going to see maybe an armory put down for Sabre here so we can morph those Hellbats, and it's going to be a pretty solid push here. A lot of Hellions. There we go. Yep, armory's already down. So we've got some Hellions and Banshees coming in as that Banshee starts to work on these spine crawlers. There's not a lot of surface area for these Hellbats to get up. They are really good against queens, though, and this is not what you want to see as a Zerg player.
No, not at all. Synastren's really, really bad place here. These Hellbats walking up, getting so much damage. There's a lot of energy on these Queens to transfuse and help out this battle, but there's also a lot of Hellbats. There's 8 to deal with right now, plus Reapers, plus a Banshee. Now, this is not looking good for our Zerg player.
Yeah, the Banshees, actually one of them got shot down by a Spore Crawler a bit out of the fight now, but I think the unsung heroes are the Reapers, of course, able to take some damage from the Queens and soak it up a little bit so that the Hellbats, the true workhorses of this army, still targeting Spine Crawlers. They've got drones that they need to be going for. If you're wasting Hellbats for Spine Crawlers, that's never the best trade in the world. They are able to absolutely shred Lings, and you know, they do pretty decently versus Queens, but a lot of drones could have been fried up there that I think Synastren is able to save, maybe a little bit to Sabre's surprise.
Yeah, Synastren able to hold that push, which is so fantastic. I can't believe he actually managed to not die right there. That was so sketchy. But he's throwing down his Spire now, and Sabre scans it right after it goes down.
He sees it.
So he's going to be prepared for those, which is not what Synastren wants to see. And right now, we're standing at about an even economy. But Synastren wants to be way ahead right now. He should have so many more drones than this. But he's just so far behind, and he's forced to go like 2-base Muta now at like 13 minutes. Is when those are going to be popping out, and that's not what you want to see. There's no anti-air for Sabre right now. He's starting to make Vikings one by one out of this Tech Lab starport, so there's a chance that Synastren's going to be able to get something done, but he has to deal with more Hellbats and Banshees now.
Yeah, and the Spire is not going to finish up for some time, and even if it does, you know, we do have enough gas, but he needs to make a defense. He needs to defend it now. He might need to spend on something else as these Hellbats make their way into the mineral line, and of course they do area effect damage, so while they're targeting Queens, they're also going to be frying up some drones here. Lings are going to try and get a surround in, but Lings are almost worthless against this many Hellbats. 3 Hellbats duking it out with 3 Queens as we go, and 2 Banshees in here just really putting out a lot of damage to DPS, trying to make their way to this hatchery. And the Barracks is coming in, just making sure if he can get those Queens and the Spore Crawlers to automatically target the Barracks. And I think Sabre knows he's going to have to get his Banshees out of the range of those the Queens and Spores. I mean, morphing more Hellbats. We have 10 Mutas about to pop, but he's going to lose the hatchery, so this is an incredibly intense situation. Like, where does this go from here? Hell, the Mutas are now going to pop. Sabre, of course, knew he was going to have to deal with this, but one Viking going to go down insanely quickly. But now these Mutas have a chance to come back and do some real damage.
Yeah, by the time the Mutas clean this up, though, Sabre should be prepared. He's starting his turrets in his main base now, but they're only in the mineral lines, so he might be able to harass the production or something, buy some time. But Synastren's going to need to pull another miracle to salvage this game, and I'm afraid what we're going to see is something similar to last game, where Sabre's just going to get all this damage done and then prepare the killing blow and move in. And now Synastren is 27 out of 24 drones on minerals in his natural base, because that's his only hatchery that's up and running right now. And he is hurting.
Yeah, he's hurting real bad, and he doesn't have anything to spend because he's got only 2 hatcheries worth of drones and larvae as well. So these turrets going to start going to work on these Mutas. The Mutas are the unit that will allow him to get back in this game. Of course, if you're a Zerg player, Mutas are the comeback unit. One Muta loses itself rather cheaply to these turrets. I think Synastren's feeling the pressure here of the tournament life, and they don't really need to be there. But there, I like the hidden
run by.
The Widow Mines is. As there's more Thors are out, Hellion's getting in on the main, maybe, or the natural rather. He's just going to go right on top of the drones.
No.
He pulls drones, not what you want to do versus Hellions. They're going to hit it right in a straight line. Now he splits, and you know, just all of them for free. And that's that's not what you want to see.
No, these Hellions are hitting Synastren right where it hurts, and they're hitting me right where it hurts. This is so painful to watch as a Zerg player. The ravaging of the drone line, like, oh, this is so brutal. And these Mutas were able to get a little bit done there in Sabre's base, but they had, like you were saying, that timidity of Synastren is not what you need in this situation. You have to take risks to get back in the game. Now that the Thors are out with Widowmine support, this next push from Sabre, whenever he decides to push out, I think is going to be his GG timing.
Yeah, I think so. I think he knows the position he's in. He's been here a million times. I mean, both players know what the position is. That you don't make it to Diamond in the latter stages of a tournament without being a pretty damn good StarCraft player. And 2 scans going down from Sabre, seeing what he's up against. He even spots a Swarm Host making its way out. And the Mutas are going to try and make their way into the third, but he's getting a little timid. You saw that ball of Mutas get pulled back because he knows he has to deal with this force incoming. And you want Mutas to pull this army back. Mutas are not a defending unit. They are an attack, an aggressive unit, and The Storm hosts burrow. There are going to be 4 locusts out and 2 more coming shortly. Widowmines go off as those Thors get an absolutely
They're so
ravaging. They're all dead. They're all dead. There's no more. That's it.
Oh, man. Yeah, Synastren, these Storm hosts might be able to get a little bit done while there's no scans. This is the Sabre's last scan. But this is just not enough locusts to really do much of anything. And like I said, I think Sabre's just going to take the win here. But props to Synastren for fighting through this. This is a very, very hard-fought game and series. I mean, this came down to the wire for both players.
Yeah, this is a fantastic series, and I think Synastren, knows that it was a tough match, and he's not going to be able to hang his head low after this one. We are going to see him get to go ahead and play against a Protoss player later in the evening. So there's the GG called. Sabre going to go ahead and take this best-of-3 series 2 games to 1.